Today we're going to talk about how to draw using a graph. Before I started using a graph for my professional portrait art, my experience felt something like this. And I realized if I ever wanted to make a decent living at this, or at least get more paintings done, I needed to find a faster way to do my drawings. So I started using a graph. A graph is very helpful for getting your sketch done quickly and accurately. It's similar to just using basic measurements, but you're measuring every square inch rather than just specific parts of the face. So that is what I use, and this is how I do it. The first step in my graphing process is digitally fixing a graph to my reference photo. The way I do this is I go to befunky.com. And I upload my picture. Make sure your reference photo has the right dimensions according to how big you want your painting to be. Mine is going to be 14 by 18. Now the next step is to find a grid to use. Now I searched 14 by 18 grid images and nothing came up that I needed. So I went ahead and tried large grid or just regular grid. And then I was met with a plethora of options. I counted to make sure I had the correct number of squares. I need 14 squares by 18 squares. Bigger is fine because you can just crop it down. When you find the grid you want, save it to your computer, right click, save image as, then enter grid and the dimensions. Then you go to the image manager section on befunky and upload your grid. I add it as an overlay. Make sure it's facing the correct direction. Size it properly. And of course, always count to make sure you have the proper number of squares. Again, I'm looking for 14 by 18 for mine. You want 1 square for every inch. That's the easiest way to draw the grid onto your artwork. Now that I have the correct positioning, I'm going to make it possible to see the picture underneath. So I go to Options, Blend Mode, and Multiply. You can see now I have black lines over my reference photo. I like to duplicate my grid and just double it up so that the lines are nice and dark, but that's optional. Then you flatten everything so it won't move. Now optionally, you can add a smaller grid for your more detailed places. As an example, I'm going to show you how I add a smaller grid over the face of the baby. This is going to allow me to get more detail in the picture in less time. I like to double up my small grids especially because when it's smaller the lines are a lot fainter. Then if you want to spread your small grid around, just duplicate it and move it to the side. but in this case I only need 1. Make sure you save that to your computer, differentiating the small grid from the regular grid. I like to save a small grid and then just a regular grid so that I have options when I'm drawing my picture. Now it's time to put our grid on our canvas or paper or whatever you're using. I'm using gesso board today. So what you're going to do is you're going to mark out every square inch with your ruler. When you have every inch marked, connect the inches vertically and horizontally until you have square inches across the entire surface. Now you're ready to add your design. The easiest way to do this is to find the nearest place to the edge and count in the number of squares. I'm starting on this corner, so I'm doing 2 in and 4 down. And then I just follow my grid and make the entire outline. That's going to give me a reference point to work in toward the center. Sometimes for more detailed areas, I find it beneficial to add a small grid. I don't always do this, but if I'm in a hurry or if it's a very detailed place that needs to be exact, I like to add a small grid. So I'll demonstrate how to do that today. The first thing I do is measure every square inch into quarter inches. So I'm going to be making 3 marks at every quarter and then at the half. I don't need to do this over the entire surface of the drawing, only in the place where I need the most detail and accuracy. Now that I have that grid on there, I will go to my small grid version of my reference photo and copy the image from that. One thing I like to mark out with my grid is the most important highlights. So you'll see I put a little mark where the highlights on the nose are going to be, as well as a highlight by the eye. Highlights are going to give your painting a lot of dimension, so you want to make sure it has dimensions in the proper areas. And that's all there is to it. We're ready to get painting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me about using graphs or anything art related, go ahead and put those questions in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and stick around for the next The Art of Marisha Renee videos. I'm going to be posting a lot more time-lapse videos and a lot more instructional videos, so stick around for those.
Oh, I wish I had not about graphs sooner.